This one simple copywriting mistake or content mistake is costing you leads and sales. Now, as a business owner, you have a very specific goal for your content, right? 90% of that content is meant to do what? Help you attract your perfect fit prospect client, right? Go out and into the world of social media or even in person, wherever it may be, and attract those people, bring those people into your world, and then nurture them, help them to know, like, and trust you by sharing your values and what you do, and how you help them, and understanding their pains and their aspirations, and how your offer is the bridge for that, right? So that they can then see the value and decide to invest in your services or your products or whatever it may be. However, I see two I see quite a few mistakes that coaches are making when it comes to their content that's actually hurting their ability to convert their perfect fit person. So once they got them kind of in their audience now, it's being able to then take them from being, a kind of passive bystander who's just kind of watching and reading some of their content here and there, to then converting them into a client. So today I'm actually going to be sharing with you two of those common mistakes that I see a lot of coaches doing, and then what are some tweaks you can make to help you rectify that so that you can get more conversions or some more people taking action on what you desire for them to do within your audience. Now, if you're meeting me for the first time, my name is Oninya Nike. I'm a wife, a mom of three. I'm a coach, a business strategist, and a best-selling author, podcaster, YouTuber, you name it. And I help coaches to master their unique message so that they can attract more premium clients consistently in their business. So here's the first thing that I see happening with coaches' content, and that is, let me open this up, that people are not creating their content with intentionality and a strategy around the steps that they want their audience to take. I want you to consider, like, what thoughts do you want your audience to have after they've read your content? What feelings do you want to invoke within them after they've experienced your content and consumed it? And what actions do they need to take, or should they be taking as a result of, again, consuming your content? So I see a lot of people posting, but there's no real clear strategy behind their content. And so they kind of wonder, like, why isn't it working? Why aren't people either commenting or reaching out to me in the messenger and DMs, or booking the scheduling the call, like I asked, right? Like I put out there. And so one of the biggest keys to that is that there's no real strategy or intentionality behind the content. It's just kind of like post and pray, close my eyes, put something together, throw it out there, and hope that it works, right? That it's actually converting, or it's actually doing what it's meant to do. So, for example, let's say you're planning to host a masterclass, right? And your desired goal for this piece of content you're putting out is you want people to sign up for that masterclass, right? It should be leading people to make the decision in their brain, like, oh, this makes sense. This is the next logical step. I should sign up for this thing. In order to do that, you want to reverse engineer the topic. You got to figure out what's the topic about, right? And then create the content around that topic, but do it in a strategic way that's going to naturally lead your audience to think, okay, I do need to sign up for this masterclass because I want this information. I want to learn more. I want to experience this, whatever it may be. When you don't have this kind of solid, your content, if it's not strategically thought through and reverse engineered, what ends up happening is it becomes disjointed. And so people don't have a clear pathway to follow to make the decision or to take the action of signing up for your thing, or booking a call with you, or grabbing your freebie, your lead magnet, whatever it may be, or even just commenting, if that's what your call to action is, right? It doesn't always have to be promoting something or anything like that. It could just be, hey, engage, comment, whatever it may be. So you want to ask yourself, what is the belief, the thoughts that you want your audience to have in order for them to then have a feeling that this masterclass is going to be beneficial to them or helpful for them, right? People always, again, thinking, what is in this for me? Everything you put out, the thought that you want to sit yourself in, like you want to always have, is my ideal audience is always thinking to themselves, what is in this for me? What is the value? What's the benefit of me paying attention to this and reading this and consuming this and doing this thing? Okay. This principle applies to all of your content, everything you're putting out around your business. Now, if you're putting it out just for the fun of it, that's different, right? Maybe you do want to still consider that, but maybe you're just sharing for the sake of sharing something personal or whatever it may be. But if it's with a plan of moving people to take a specific action around what you are trying to offer, launch, whatever it may be, there's got to be strategy and intentionality behind it. I say this a lot. My clients will tell you I say this quite a bit. I'm very strategic and analytical. A big part of that came from my past life in higher education and as an operations manager in the residence halls and stuff like that. Very data driven, very analytical, very strategic in how we plan stuff. So but this principle still applies to your marketing efforts, right? So I'm going to give you an example because I know examples are a better way for you to really understand what I'm trying to say. So let's say you want people to sign up for your dating masterclass, right? You're a dating coach. You help them, find Mr. Right, and actually enjoy the process of dating and really finding their soulmate. So your content, what it can be doing, if the topic of your masterclass is like helping you, right? Like the 3 shifts to figuring out to finding Mr. Right in today's crazy, hectic online dating world, something like that. Your content, one piece of your content could be addressing, let's say, a belief that your audience maybe has around online dating, because you're talking about dating in the online space right now, right? So you can talk about what is one belief they have. Maybe like online dating is a scam or it doesn't work, whatever it may be. Your goal in one of these pieces of content could be to shift their perspective or their belief around that, right? And why their belief around that is maybe flawed or incorrect or whatever it may be, and that you have a solution to that. You found a new way to help them, be able to date online and, not have to deal with any of that other stuff that's going on. And that in your masterclass, this is how you're going to do it. Now you see how that it's a small piece, but that content has now led effortlessly and seamlessly into like your masterclass being the next logical step for them to take if they want to experience this result or understand why that thinking is flawed, right? That your masterclass is going to show them the way, a different way to be able to date and find love online. Now you can paint a picture of another way is you can paint a picture of what they're currently experiencing. Maybe you're like, hey, you're spending all your days on these dating apps and it's like, people just want to hook up, and those that you do end up with, they're not ready or committed. They're uncommittal men and they're unloyal and they're cheating and blah, 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 blah. And you can like paint something that you're creating a visceral reaction in people because now they're like, oh my gosh, yes, I'm experiencing this. This sucks, right? And then the next logical step would be like, if this is you, you found a new way, you understand that it sucks, you empathize with their experience, there is a better way. And you're going to share what those are and why that's happening for them on this masterclass. If they want to know that, of course, right? They want to know what is this better way? What's going on? How can I stop doing this? What do I got to do? Your masterclass is the next logical step. On the flip side, you can paint a picture of the results that they want, right? Maybe of yourself, your experience, or maybe a client that you've had and how they're in this beautiful relationship and they've met Mr. Right after, 2 to 3 years of being single and not, dating these terrible people. And now they're happy, they're getting ready to get married and they're planning their future and they're so in love, blah, 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 whatever. Now you've painted this picture and this desire, this aspiration that your ideal client wants. And you're like, hey, by the way, if you want this result too, guess what? I'm about to share with you how I did it, how my client did it, what steps we took, what we did differently. And the masterclass is the next logical step. So do you see how we are seamlessly making this the next logical step for your ideal audience? We're being very intentional in the content we're creating and how we are leading our people to the next logical conclusion. I see so many posts and coaches that don't do this. And so if it doesn't make sense, people will not seamlessly move into your masterclass or your lead mag or whatever it may be, because if they're not understanding the correlation, it's disjointed the way you may be putting your content together or sharing the information on your videos or your lives. Okay. This is so, so key. Now, my takeaway here is you want to start writing content with the intention of what action you want your audience to take after consuming it. That should always be your thought process, is reverse engineer your content. So before I create content, for the most part, I have my moments. I'm always thinking, what actions do I want my person to take? What lessons do I want them to take from this? Or what shifts, what way of thinking do I want to help change or give them a different insight, a different way of seeing it so that they can take a specific action. That's how you start to create that movement, that momentum for your audience. Okay. Now, let's say you're not promoting anything, because sometimes you're just not, right? You can still think about, what shifts, what thoughts do I want to help my ideal client have around where they're currently at? What's keeping them stuck? Why these things are happening? Why what they've done in the past isn't working? What are, different ways of looking at a certain situation? Giving them the belief in themselves to be able to achieve this goal, this result, this outcome that they want. You can do that too without it always being like by myself or jump on a call, even though that's a lot of the times what we are doing. You can also just be like, hey, I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear what's resonating with you, what's connecting for you, because that's another way to create conversations with your audience and build a deeper connection with them. Okay. So, my takeaway for you is this: always write content with the end in mind, right? What is the strategy? What's the intentionality behind it? And let that guide your process when you're creating content. Now, the second mistake is kind of tied into this, and that is that people don't have a clear call to action. Now, I've done a whole YouTube training on this on my YouTube channel. So if this is something you're interested in, please let me know. Put the word CTA in the comment section, by the way, and I will send you the link to the YouTube training where I kind of share with you the formula for this, for writing, interesting, enticing, juicy, action-packed, action-packed CTA is call to action that's going to get your people to move, because a lot of people kind of get this wrong as well. So I won't go too deep into this. Let me know if you're interested. It's on YouTube. You can find it, but if you just want the link so you don't have to go searching, let me know. Your call to action is important, because if you want people to take an action, like we talked about with our content at top right just now, you need to guide people to take that action. The more you do this, the more you have call to actions, the more your audience gets kind of used to it. They're like, oh, she's always, some type of call to action. She wants me to engage in some way, shape, or form, or take an action. And it becomes kind of natural. Okay. So let your audience know you want them to take some type of action around your content. Now, if you don't let people know what's next, or you don't encourage them to do some type of engagement, people won't do anything. If you're not like, hey, drop me a one, if this resonates, if you're not like, DM me this word, if you're not like, hey, if this is something you want more support around, watch this thing, or ask me, reach out to me messenger, or book a call with me. If you're not letting people know, they're not going to take action, right? We can't assume people can read our minds and know that we want them to do a certain thing. So we've got to be very clear and specific about what is that next step you want your people to take. Okay. It could be buy your thing, grab your lead magnet, again, jump on a call with you, buy your offer, whatever it may be, that's fine. But make sure that you're very clear, specific about what is that next step. What do you want your audience to do? Don't just assume that they're going to know what to do, because they're not. They're just going to read and keep moving, keep scrolling. People are busy. Don't have your audience think about what they've got to do, because our brains love ease and simplicity in everything. It's the reason why being an entrepreneur can be challenging, because because our brains like simplicity, but we always feel things need to be more complicated. So you want to simplify everything for your audience. You don't want them to think and try to rack their brains to figure it out, because their brain's going to be like, nah, I ain't got time for this. Going on. So be very clear what it is that you want your people to do. Now, again, just to emphasize, your call to action does not have to be to buy your thing or whatever it may be. It should be most of the time, because you are an entrepreneur, you are a business owner, right? You want to make conversions. If you're not asking people to take that step to get on a call with you or message you, whatever, then you're not making sales as consistently. That's just the honest truth. However, sometimes you just want people to engage with you, right? You just want them to start a conversation and get to know, you get to know them a little bit more. You get to learn more about your audience. They get to have that dialogue started with your audience. So your call to action could be as simple as, does this resonate with you? Or what connected with you? Or I'd love to hear your own experiences around this thing. Those are also great calls to action as well. Okay. So really what you want to do is just take the time to create your content with intentionality, and then create your call to action also with intentionality and strategically, and make it enticing and very specific and clear as to what next steps you want your audience to take. Okay. um, like I said, if you want the formula for that, put in the comment section CTA, and I'll send you the link to that YouTube video. Okay. So I am curious to hear your thoughts on this. Are you creating your content with intentionality? Do you have a strategic plan in place, or are you kind of just hoping and praying and just posting and just putting anything out there? Are you just putting those, like, I know people talk about, like, your content buckets and topics, but there's no real strategy behind it. It's kind of like, today is mindful Monday and tomorrow is thankful Tuesday, but there's no strategy and there's no real connection. It's not congruent as to what you want your audience to do. And so you're just putting it out there to say you have content. I don't know about you, but I don't like to put out content just for the sake of putting out content all the time. I'm a very I try to be very strategic about my content. I help my clients do the same, because content is time, it's energy. And so if you are intentional about growing your business, making sales in your business with your content, then you want to have strategy and intentionality behind it, right? This is something that it takes practice. It's like a muscle. It doesn't come natural to us because we're used to, prior to business, just putting content out there, right? When you're on TikTok or Facebook or Instagram, you're just putting your stuff, you're sharing your life, you're sharing moments, and so there's no real strategy behind it. But when you have a business, and especially when you're launching something, or you have an offer and you want people to actually take action on getting on those calls and investing in your programs, there has to be some type of intentionality and strategy behind what you're doing with your content. Okay. So this training is, remember, this 30 days. This is day 3, I believe, of this training, these mini snackable trainings. So come in, sit down, take notes, really share your thoughts, and implement, by the way, too, because I am sharing all the different nuggets that you're going to take away and to improve on your content, so that it can actually work for you, instead of just being this thing that you have to do that drains you and just feels like there's no point, because you're not seeing the results for all your effort. Now, if you want to move faster, I have to do this, my due diligence, y'all. If you want to move faster and just have me support you in refining, clarifying, and mastering your message, so that you can attract and land more perfect fit clients in your business, and that means me helping you structure out and strategize your content for you, so it's actually bringing you in leads and sales, then send me a DM and let's chat. I'll take a look at your messaging currently, see where you're at, see what tweaks you can make, and we'll talk a little bit more about how we can help you really create a plan in place for your content that's actually going to move the needle forward, get you leads, and get you clients. All right. Until tomorrow, everyone, thank you for joining me for yet another snackable training. I will see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye.